How so? Do you know what the word bigotry means?
Shut down.
I know. A commander or somebody. You are. Because you judge people. You judge people on their outward appearance. It's bigotry.
Greetings, people of YouTube. So, if you have been on the internet, at all, over the past few months, you may or may not have heard about the first annual Straight Pride Parade that the city of Boston was going to be hosting. And, well, it was very controversial, just given the nature of the subject. But, much to the dismay of many people, including Governor Charlie Baker, the parade went through. So, we thought it would be pretty funny to go and film the parade. We heard Milo Yiannopoulos was going to be there, so that's always entertaining. If you know who Milo Yiannopoulos is, you know where I'm coming from. And, we tried to go to the parade. We missed that. We went down to City Hall to try to catch the speakers who were going to be there, and, well...
Unfortunately, we were denied entry to the venue at City Hall by riot police. They said that who was in, and we weren't allowed to go. So, us and a lot of other people that were hoping to go weren't able to enter. But we walked around, and we managed to find the crowd of protesters that had gathered on the backside of City Hall. And, well, we interviewed some people, we talked to some people, we got some video, and yeah.
So yeah, we tried to get in, as Joe said, and we just ended up in the street with several hundred counter-protesters who had more or less completely drowned out whatever the speakers were trying to say. I couldn't say for myself what they were saying, as I said before, because we just didn't really hear anything they were saying. They were talking about probably straight pride at some point, but all the counter-protesters talked about was like Black Lives Matter and Free Palestine and things that seemed more or less off topic. We actually cut out a lot of the protest footage because we wanted to conserve some of the battery on the camera. And
well, anyway, that's enough talking. Let's get on with the video. I don't know how we're gonna get there. Well, there's City Hall right there. Yeah, that's the City Hall right across the way.
So we followed the fences and police along what used to be the parade route from Copley Square down to City Hall, and the first thing that we saw before we had to get past the checkpoint was this guy that we just showed you, wearing all black, waving a Gadsden flag. And after we got in, we kind of caught up to him as he was walking in the opposite direction that we were. And he had a decent group of people going with him with cameras and such, but he didn't really say anything.
Yeah, we're not really sure if he was really associated with anyone, or if he was someone important, or if he was just walking with a Gadsden flag. But the people that were walking around him with their cameras seemed like, some of them seemed pretty angry at him. Others were probably doing just what we were doing and observing. But, yeah.
saying that they want an armed takeover of the U.S. government. Is that it? They want to turn into resist Marxism, which turned into straight pride Boston? That group? That free speech group? Bill, you should learn about the groups that you're supporting, mister.
Are you friends with the Christian Land? Oh, I bet you know all about it. Right. So how many old ladies am I going to school across Rochester right now? Like, how many houses are getting broken into in Mattapan right now? You know, today would be a good day to rob a bank. clapping for racists.
You have the right to believe what you want to believe. So do I.
Okay.
God bless America.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
Is that the level of discourse that you think is good for America?
You're not here for this.
I am.
No, you're not.
You know nothing about me.
No, you're not.
You know nothing about me.
That.
What's that?
No one fucking believes that. You don't believe that.
I do. So if I took this hat off, would it change? Would it change anything?
Fuck up.
Now do I look like I want discourse? Is it the hat that's doing it?
Well, I was in it for a minute.
You're assuming you know something about me. You're showing your bigotry by simply
I'm
assuming.
showing my bigotry.
Yes.
Yeah, you are.
How so? Do you know what the word bigotry means?
We're waiting.
Can you spell bigotry?
I know. A commander or somebody. You are. Because you judge people. You judge people on their outward appearance. It's bigotry.
Alright, so after this wonderful display of civil discourse and who's the real bigot argument, this was essentially the last we heard from anybody who was on the side of the actual straight pride parade, presumably anyway, or anybody on the right, or conservatives as you want to say from this point on.
This was right outside the gate where we were denied entry, where I had earlier seen a lot of people walking in. So I think a lot of people on the right kind of stopped here, turned around and went back because they weren't going to be able to listen to any of the speakers. So
yeah, there was very heavy police presence, but once we got past them, it was just all counter protesters. We couldn't really hear a single thing from anybody who was a parade organizer. This guy, on his shirt, it mentioned an organization. I think it was called Tribute to Men, and I think they were one of the groups behind the parade. But he was the only one that we even got to hear. So after spending like half an hour or so in the main crowd of protesters, just trying to kind of like ease our way towards the front a little bit, we kind of just gave up on trying to hear what the actual speakers were trying to say, because we couldn't even hear each other, let alone the actual speakers that were on the other side of the like police and fences that they had put up. So we just kind of went to the outside of the crowd to talk to whoever was willing to talk to us.
Yeah, and the screaming seemed really counterproductive, because I mean, if they wanted to accomplish anything as far as political discourse goes, you know, they'd listen to what they have to say, they'd form a counter argument, and they didn't really seem like they were interested in actually countering the other side at all. They just kind of wanted to scream at the police and the people on the other side of the fence, so we're kind of admittedly mocking them.
Yeah, like when we got onto like the outer edges of the crowd, we ran into actually a few other like kind of like independent journalists and YouTubers and such, people who were just taking videos for Twitter and whatnot. We ran into a guy whose name was Elad. He has a YouTube channel called Barely Informed with Elad, and he was being like really drowned out by a lot of like anti-fascist protesters, as they call them, Antifa, with like the black masks and the whole get-up, red handkerchiefs, black handkerchiefs, whatever. And then we also ran into another guy who runs a YouTube channel called Boston Stringer Media. So it'd be nice to look both of those people up because we're just kind of spread the information that they told us to give. I mean, they handed us their names and such, so we might as well mention them.
Yeah, might as well.
And we also ran into another like faction, if you will, that was called the American Iron Front. I did a little bit of research on them. They're kind of like got the whole like Antifa vibe going with them, but they're a little bit more civil. We're not gonna get into politics or anything, but they were just kind of there doing their thing. Mm-hmm. Anyway, here they are.
They just didn't know they were being respectful. Just here with independent YouTube channel. I want to know if you're associated with any groups here.
Any groups? What? Any far right?
No, it doesn't. We don't care what group you're associated with.
No, I'm just independent. Came of my own volition. Wanted to protest the straight pride and all the bigotry and all the hate. You know, I stand on my own 2 feet.
You stuck out because of the American flag. We saw a pile of burned American flags down the street, so we thought it was just interesting that you had an American flag on you.
The reason why I have this is because I think that this right here
is America, right?
This is American. This is protesting bigotry and racism is what makes America great. That's what that's what makes us proud Americans. Is protesting racism, protesting fascism, everything like that. You know, protesting just the oppression of marginalized groups like homosexuals, lesbians, trans people, all those types of people.
Yeah, nice to talk to you. I see you're willing to talk, unlike some of the other people here. Very.
Yeah, he's with me. He's with me.
And your name? We don't need a name, but you're also.
It's fine. I can be public. My name is L.B. Lee. I'm an independent local cartoonist. Who mostly does not draw dicks, though sometimes I do.
All right.
if I thought it was weird that a gay guy, Milo, was organizing a straight parade. That's exactly what. No, I'll tell you they did because they were yelling at me about it, and I have it all on camera. So like, I'll tell you, that's how it started. And like, I don't even really give a fuck anymore. When I write my story, I'm gonna record what happened, right? And like, this is what happened. Looks good for you guys. Look up ELAD.
ELAD?
It means God forever in Hebrew.
Alright, thank you. You can try.
Biggest questions that I have.
We're not here to provoke anybody. We just want to know if you know anything about that guy that we were trying to. Some of us were trying to discuss.
He's asking a very leading question, trying to kind of go and get people into saying dumb shit, I guess, for the most part.
Yeah, he's a bad faith actor.
Yeah, very much a bad faith actor. He's trying to go and make people look like shit.
It's like, isn't it so wild that Milo Yiannopoulos, a gay person, would organize the straight
He's trying to hide behind identity politics.
And it's just like, he's a fascist.
Did he
Fascist rally, he's organizing fascist.
Are you guys associated with any organizations tonight?
No.
This morning? Say afternoon?
Did he give you a YouTube channel?
He did, yes. It was Elad, E-L-A-D, Elad. He said it was Hebrew for something about God.
He tried to get in there before he started.
Let's take a look at this guy.
I have a quick question for the members who are blocking the free stuff. What are your thoughts on, I'm not saying necessarily this group or anyone who's necessarily here, but members of Antifa in the past blocking cameras while simultaneously chanting, the whole world is watching. How do you, say that, some camera reporters are attacked or their cameras are taken from them, even though they're just trying to document?
Yeah, I can't speak for
know what you're talking about, but most of the guys that Antifa ends up beefing with are just scumbags like that in law. It's all loaded questions. It's all nonsense.
What about Andrew No? He recently got assaulted in Berkeley. Isn't he a gay man as well?
Andrew No just got canned from his job because he was helping fascists plan to attack bar patrons. He's a piece of shit.
Where was this?
That was wherever he's at in Seattle.
Adam Walkman kill list.
Yeah, seriously. NBN Go is a dishonest piece of shit.
Do you think that justifies for someone with political or idealistic belief differences to physically assault someone and cause a brain hemorrhage?
Politics and violence. We could have led to the deaths of journalists because of an Adam Walkman kill list that he inspired one Adam Walkman affiliated member.
He is hurting way more people than
We're just independent.
He's causing
We're not
way
associated
more.
with any of the groups on either side of this event.
I know, but like, where did
AIM TV, AIM TV. We just make little YouTube videos in our free time.
Yeah,
how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good.
My name's Jasper.
I'm Joe.
Meet you guys.
Me too.
And all of a sudden, there was this brown powder that was kind of thrown.
Was it the dude in the MAGA hat and the flag?
Yeah, the man with the big
That guy.
and the Israeli flag. Yeah. But it's just interesting seeing both sides because for me, I just try to document, but it's also interesting seeing how so many people just don't like the documentation of what they do. A lot of people on both sides seem, as a person, nice, regardless of their idealistic beliefs. But some people just don't want to be on camera at all. But I think it's important to be there to document what happens because overall, video is the most credible thing that you could look at. Obviously there's editing and there's, false imposing of phrases and people saying something out of context, but having video evidence from accountability on both sides is really important.
Yeah, we're probably just going to upload raw footage. We may not even edit
that's
this.
That's what I'm doing, yeah. For me, I normally cover shootings with Boston PD, fires, stuff like that, car crashes, sell to the morning news, but I've been to a lot of protests, I've been to a lot of rallies, I've heard, things from both sides.
The confrontation.
Oh, let's go to that.
Yeah, we should get over there.
Nice. Just like literally,
Just to ask if you're affiliated with any of the groups that we see here today.
Where are you from?
We're from Massachusetts, a little bit outside of Boston.
Yeah.
We're not affiliated with anybody here. We're just here to film a few things and share it with the internet.
Have a good one. I'm sure.
All right, you too. Have a good day. Excuse me. Do you mind being on video? Is that okay? It's fine. Are you guys associated with any groups here? We've noticed the red, white, and blue through the arrow flag a few times. What does that represent? We're not not here to provoke anybody. Don't worry. Yeah.
American Iron Front. If you want more info, look him up online.
What's it called?
American Iron Front.
American Iron Front? Yes. And you're a medic here at this event, or? Oh, okay. American Iron Front. We'll look that up. We're sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Supreme. We have a couple questions now that you're not as busy.
Okay.
So, I assume you're running again this year.
Yes, sir. I'm currently seeking Libertarian Party nomination. Well, once again, it's a beautiful day for a parade. I heard that it was Douchebag Pride Day, and all the douchebags were coming out for a big parade to fly their douchebag colors and to show what giant douchebags they are. And so I wanted to come down and observe this wonderful display of douchebaggery.
All right, that's it.
Thank you.
Well put.